morning, it's June 12th, and I'm your host, Josh Greibeldinger. As everywhere in America relaxes their coronavirus restrictions, 22 states and the Navajo Nation are seeing their confirmed cases spike and ICUs start to run low on beds. So to all of our viewers, but especially those wondering why we're reopening, welcome to the lockdown. After 12 weeks, today will be our final episode. Not only was I starting to run out of bow ties, but also lockdown measures are being lifted across the country. Many people will continue working from home, but restaurants are reopening, people are crowding into casinos, and thousands have taken to the streets in protest. The pandemic might not be over, but shelter at home definitely is. In fact, it took until this week for the last passengers stuck on cruise ships to finally disembark, just as media outlets have begun reporting on a second wave of the virus. At this point, I would have stayed on the boat. The rooms are bigger than my apartment, and they have a pool. I got called back into my restaurant job this week, and I wish I could say it's good to be back. I miss the days when the worst thing a customer could give me was a bad tip. I forgot how sore my feet get after a full shift, so it's a good thing I went to all those marches last week as a warm-up. Some people have accused me and other fastidious social distancers of hypocrisy for encouraging people to congregate in large crowds at Black Lives Matter protests. But no one is diminishing the risk involved. Everyone agrees going to the protest invites the possibility of not only a viral contagion, but also getting shot in the face with a rubber bullet. Personally, I'm worried about all the police officers I saw wearing their masks wrong. Instead of properly covering their nose and mouth, they just covered their badge number instead. Many doctors support the protests because they believe the racial disparities in our country have a greater long-term health impact than the virus. The same argument could not be made about reopening just for the sake of the economy, no matter how great you might feel after a mani-pedi. But the reopen protests, no matter if they were correct or not, did get their wish. The country is reopening. Now, that doesn't mean things are back to how they were. Masks and social distancing truly are the new normal. At the restaurant where I work, most people are adapting just fine. I only had one customer storm out when I told him he needed to wear a mask until his food arrived. And in that moment, I was truly grateful for my own mask. Not because I was worried about becoming infected, but because I could laugh at his tantrum without him seeing my smile. As financial and social pressures cause everyone to relax their social distancing, it's time to talk about risk reduction. There's still a lot of unknowns about the virus, but based on what scientists do know, here are 5 things everyone can do to stay safe. 1. Keep your non-essential shopping to a minimum. Don't eat at Denny's. It's not any more dangerous than other restaurants, but if you're going to take risks with your health, at least go somewhere fancy, like the Cheesecake Factory. 2. Minimize social gatherings and avoid any with more than 10 people. Basically, channel your inner introvert. 3. Socialize outside. Now is not the time for house parties. The virus is much less likely to spread outside than inside. I know you spent a lot of time cleaning your house and want to show off, but it's summer. Haven't we spent enough time inside these past 3 months? 4. While doing any of this, keep wearing your mask. It should go over your nose and down to your chin. Letting your nose hang out is like going commando and leaving your zipper open. What's the point of even wearing pants in the first place then? And lastly, 5. Get tested regularly. It's as easy as getting McDonald's drive-thru, but without the inevitable 20-minute toilet adventure. For almost 3 months, we have all experienced the downs and downs of the pandemic together. You know it's been crazy when we weren't able to find the time to talk about murder hornets, the SpaceX rocket launch, or the monkeys that stole coronavirus samples from a lab. But I hope that despite these omissions, I've been able to keep you informed and amused while you've been stuck at home with nothing better to do than watch our show. So a big thank you to everyone who worked on the lockdown. Associate producer Cassie Sciano, who also did every other job imaginable, and all of our writers, correspondents, and contributors, Kevin McLean, Sam Griffin, Dustin Mark, Sarah Lucy Hill, Kaylin Bernal, Marissa Coccaro, Jason Richards, Ricky March, Ryan Stevens, Sarah Christiansen, who also did our logo and graphic design, and our chroma key editor, Sarah Carpenter. And most of all, thank you, everyone, for watching. That's our show. And so, for possibly the final time, wash your hands, wear a mask, and for the love of America, please stay healthy.